and we can have a family do with kids and all that, looking at the horses.
Tradition and family are well evident among Gypsy communities. It's the first week of June in northern England. The roadsides and public areas all along the way to Appleby Township are decorated with colorful Gypsy camps. It's been this way for perhaps hundreds of years. They are making their way to the historic Appleby Horse Fair. In this age of motor cars, the once everyday horse-drawn living wagon is now reserved only for recreation and holidays such as this.
I was born in a wagon, but I mean, we used to walk it. This is the old road, this to Appleby. This is the A66. We used to walk this road when we were children with 20 or 30 horses, come to Appleby Fair, and there was no traffic on the road at all. And that's a truck belt. And the only thing that had passed here was a hot tanker. I only remember missing it once.
That's how many years?
I'm 61-year-old. And I only remember missing it once, and that was when the wife was expecting the baby.
We had a tighter on the side. Should we come with a head? Should we come with a head? Billy would have got it.
The journey to Appleby Fair is to many a pilgrimage, a gathering of culture and celebration of a lifestyle past. It's an exciting journey, a treasured tradition for the old and a lifetime experience for the young. Some will travel weeks to get to Appleby, plying the same roadways as semis and speeding autos with little patience for slowdowns, no matter how colorful or charming. It can be an arduous trip and not one for the faint of heart. As wagons string into Appleby Town Center, making their way to the fairgrounds, steps are a bit livelier. Heads are held higher as all eyes turn to view the feathered procession. Today is opening day, the 323rd year of Appleby Fair. Founded back in 1685 for the purpose of horse trading, Appleby Fair has run continuously since. Crowds are growing steadily, but are still only an inkling of the throngs the weekend will bring. Along the banks of the River Eden, the long-held tradition of bathing horses in the river seems more like a spectator sport. Up on Fair Hill, Caravans, traditional and modern, already command the acreage. The fair offers a modest midway with fun, food, and goods. The main focus, however, is still on the horses, and many of various quality are in view.
You've got the main road up there is called the Flash Road. That's where all your like hard-bred horses and all that gone. Best thing in the world is for the kids to drive them. And when the kids drive them, people buy them, you know. They buy them a lot more when kids are driving them because they can trust the little horses, like, you know. Someone will just walk along and stop you and ask you how much you want on it. And obviously tell them how much you want on it. If there's a little bit between you, then just try your best to to have a deal.
Are you?
Some people have good deals and some people have bad deals.
Only about 20% of the horses raised by gypsies are of the Gypsy Vanner breeding. The rest are of unknown heritage, with the colored trotters being likely a standardbred cross.
Hurry up, Miley! We own the race.
Oh yeah? When are you guys going out?
Later on.
The weather's good, Appleby's good. If the weather breaks like it did yesterday, they can sharp empty the place within an hour or two. It's empty, you know.
Yeah.
Doesn't take folks long, you know.
In the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning, if it's a nice morning, I get up, get the fire lit, get the kettle on, and little birds are singing. I make me pot of coffee, drink a whole pot of coffee and numerous cigarettes. Then I have to go to the loo every hour, because you know what coffee does to you. I should drink tea. And then I hear people going to work. The cars start going through the village. And I think, God, I may not have that much, but by God, what a wealthy man I am. All these poor people go into factories and offices and, oh, on a lovely sunny day, stuck indoors, sad. Yeah, I've been a wagon painter for 50 years. 1958, I started doing wagons. Bought my first wagon in 1958. And I used to travel about, doing the odd wagon, doing farm work, making clothes pegs, baskets, wooden flowers, paper roses, knocking doors, selling this sort of stuff, and then do another wagon. There's very, very few. You can count on one hand how many people are still travelling and living in wagons now, all the year round. And so people that go to Appleby, they just take them out for a month or a few weeks holiday. To think, 40 years ago, I was in a horse-drawn wagon on a farm picking up potatoes at 4 and 2pence an hour. Yeah, and freezing in the wagon in the winter. Waking up with the condensation on the boards at the back, frozen. You couldn't get out of bed, frozen. And being shifted by the police. When the old wagon builders had either gone bust or they'd changed over onto the motor car age, gypsy people that still wanted wagons, then they built their own. And that's where the open lot wagon comes in. And they weren't carved, so it gave a fella with a paintbrush plenty of scope and all the scroll work, beautiful scroll work, and a bit of gold leaf. And now it's just gone mind-blowing, really. More and more carving, these beautiful new wagons, and so with the horses. In the old days, you just had an old plodder to pull your living wagon, something safe with the traffic for your missus and kids. It was your home. There was a very sickly smell, a sweet sickly smell in the living wagons. And that was through the baby's milk, it was through the black backer, the smoking, it was from the wood smoke, and the body sweat, of course, the smelly old feet, and so you had that sweet sickly smell in these old wagons. It was really lovely, yeah.
Gypsy carts and caravans can be found throughout Europe, but only one place in the world did the gypsy caravan become an art form, and that's Great Britain. So the most highly decorated gypsy caravan in the world is the English gypsy caravan. So it only made sense then that there would be a vision born to create an art form to pull the art form. And that, of course, is the Gypsy Vanner horse. So gypsy describes the people, and Vanner describes the vision, much like American Quarter Horse. Not very many people have the opportunity, or we'll call it responsibility, of naming a breed. The final question went to Fred Walker. Fred Walker, aka King of the Colored Horses by most gypsies, was the most dedicated breeder of this vision that I ever met. Fred died living in a horse-drawn caravan. I said, Fred, it's between Romany horse and Gypsy Vanner horse. He said, what, Gypsy Vanner horse is the perfect name. That's what they are, Gypsy's Vanner horse. So that was the end of it. If it was the perfect name for King of the Colored Horses, it was a perfect name for us. So.
Gypsy Vanners are famous for an abundance of hair, often with showy double manes and a refined, sweet, well-proportioned head set on a strong neck. Their ample signature feathering starts at the hock and flows down profusely over the hoof.